friends, hello everyone, my name is Dasha. Today we decided to film a little educational video for you. It's all about decorating functional interior elements. In this case, it's going to be a countertop, but the technique we're going to show you today, you can actually use on pretty much any surface. So it could be a table, it could be like, I don't know, a pathway somewhere, for example, if you want to decorate something at your Dasha. Basically, you can use this same technique. It's really simple, it's really fast, and you can put it together from materials you have lying around, so there shouldn't be any complications with it. Let me tell you a bit about what we're going to be using. As you can see on the right side, we have liquid ceramic tiles, and here we have ceramic tiles and porcelain stoneware. You can basically use regular ceramic tiles. I'm sure you have some leftover pieces from your renovations, some samples. Basically, you can use those for decorating. I've got porcelain stoneware and ceramic tiles here. Let me show you what they look like. Here it is. That's what it looks like. On the other hand, as you can see, I've got these colourful little discs that's Smalti. It's thick glass with pigment. It's been cast into these little pieces that I'll also be using in my work. You can use ceramics, and really, Smalti and ceramics are similar in colour. So you can find something bright, and they're similar in thickness too. So it doesn't matter. If you have ceramic tiles, you can use ceramic tiles. I'll be using Smalti because, as you can see, I only have this porcelain stoneware and these bright coloured Smalti pieces. We chose a countertop from IKEA as our base. You've probably all seen those little coffee table format ones. It's not too... Let me show you it carefully now. See, it's not too big, but it'll be enough for us to demonstrate the technique. Here. These are the legs that we'll assemble separately later, when we're done with the work. It's still packaged. I haven't unpacked it yet, let me do that for you now. And I've got mounting mesh here on top, which we'll need to attach to the top of the countertop later. Let me tell you a bit about the tools I have here. So this is a hardy triangle, which I'll use to break the triangles apart, to break up these Smalti pieces. I'll show you how that works in a bit. And I also have a couple of glass cutters and pliers here. I'll explain those later too. So let's get started with the actual idea that I want to create here. You all know about Gaudi, the famous architect, and I wanted to show you something simple that anyone could put together, that anyone who wants to could do the same thing. So I just grabbed a picture. I don't think it looks super similar to Gaudi, but it'll work for us. This is roughly what our countertop will look like. Not exactly, just as an example. It's all very simple here, as you can see. Just regular geometric shapes. Triangles, rectangles, squares, and so on. And some little pieces and the gaps between them, which we'll fill in later. Basically, let me explain the principle. It's a really convenient design that works perfectly with ceramic tiles. I think that's about it. I think we can get started on the actual work. During the process, I'll tell you about some of the tools and their special features, and also some specific technical tips along the way. Okay, so let's start unpacking the table. All right, friends. Let's get started on the actual work. Now I'm going to unpack the table, remove these legs, and then I'll start installing the mesh. And after that, I'll tell you what to do next. Okay, let's put the mesh aside for now. Careful with the legs. By the way, you can definitely do the same with a table like this. This is just an example. If you want to decorate some little table out at the Dasha, you know. I know a lot of people really like doing this kind of thing in the summer when you're out somewhere and you've got some table you'd like to refresh. It could be any table. It could be a plastic table, a wooden table. It really doesn't matter because I'm going to tell you about the materials we'll use, and they work universally on everything. All right, let me pull out the countertop itself now. There we go. And we'll put it here and set this aside. There we go. So let me not assemble the countertop yet. We'll clear all this away. From here, okay. And let's lay down the countertop like this. All right, so here's our base. Look, if you're going to use metal as your base, For example, a metal table, I'd suggest you prime it first and then...
вот у нас основа. Смотрите, если вы будете использовать металл в качестве основы,
Apply cement adhesive on top, because otherwise you might not get good adhesion, and it might not stick properly and could fall off. But that's just in case. Basically just use primer, prime it normally, and then apply the material on top. We have a wooden table so we can easily attach the mesh to it. I'm using a furniture stapler for this and carefully securing everything. There, try to attach the mesh so that it's smooth and tight. The more you secure it, the better, from all sides.
Так.
Because if you don't secure it properly, it'll come loose while you're working.
Чем больше вы ее прибьете, тем лучше. Со всех сторон.
So the mesh is secured.
Так, давайте здесь еще тоже закрепим.
Look, I took a picture as my inspiration.
Ну, как-то так. Так, ну что, сетку я закрепила.
So what can we do?
Я взяла картинку за основу, вот такой вот.
For example, I took an example here. I'm not really going to draw anything right now, but if you happen to find some picture, I'd suggest you grab a pencil or a marker or something and sketch out a rough outline of what it's going to look like. Here, I've got things pretty simple. Just some geometric shapes. I could basically just sketch a triangle, some sort of, roughly speaking, I'll have a triangle here. There's the triangle. And really, I think that's enough. I think we've got some nice transitions here. Maybe I'll do a couple. Maybe I'll do one here and another one here. Okay, well, that should be enough. So once you've attached the mesh to the base, you're going to need the adhesive that you'll use to glue everything down. I'm going to use Cerebond cement adhesive. It looks like this. You can use something roughly similar. And if it's a wooden surface, you can use construction adhesive. If it's metal, I'd also recommend some cement-based because it's just stronger. And if the finished piece is going to be outside, like on a table or whatever, then cement is better for outdoor use. So to mix this adhesive, I'll need a container and the adhesive itself, and a plasticizer, a special liquid additive. Let me open it carefully. If you end up using the same adhesive as me, let me tell you about the ratio. It should be roughly 1 to 3. That is, 1 part liquid to 3 parts cement. It should feel like dough. Let me show you the right consistency now. Basically, you pour in the liquid, about this much. There, and then you pour in the cement. And carefully mix it all together. There.
Вот, и аккуратно все это перемешивайте.
There. Well, basically, this consistency should work for the adhesive. Now I'll mix it well. It should be like dough.
Другой контейнер, этот не очень удобный.
So, but that's if you're using cement adhesive. Specifically this brand, Cerabond. If you're using regular construction adhesive, you just squeeze it out and apply it to your material. I mean, construction adhesive, you've probably seen it at the store. They sell that kind of adhesive at hardware stores. It works pretty well for our purposes too. For ceramics, the only thing is, I'd still recommend using this kind to prepare the wooden base properly. Really make sure to do that. It needs to be solid. And actually, let me show you something here. We're going to spread the adhesive. All right, so we've got our mixed adhesive ready. Let me clear all this away. And now we'll get started basically on the actual tabletop. I'll be applying the adhesive to the mesh, and then I'll be laying down the tesserae on top, nicely and evenly. As you can see, this Smalti isn't very thick. It's about 1 centimeter or so, similar to ceramic. Here, I'll be using these nippers. These nippers are called a montalit. They're actually designed specifically for ceramic. So if you do use ceramic, pay attention to these. They're really convenient. And actually, they work pretty well for Smalti too. Let me start, I think. I'll start with the central area. For some reason, I want to begin with that. All right, let me clear this bit away first. And I'll start applying the adhesive directly. I think in the center I'll have probably a blue color. Something like this. I'll use it as my base. So at the bottom there'll be pink. Right here, like this. And here we'll have orange. Well, something like that, roughly. I won't use ceramic because I just put this piece down here. They want ceramic tiles. There are some pieces here that, in principle, you could use. Well, okay, we'll see. Let's start, I think, with the central area and do the work. All right, I'm applying the adhesive. About roughly about 5 millimeters thick. Just like that. Since I have a simple pattern, I apply a fairly large area of adhesive all at once. If you're going to use a grid, then just spread it on each individual piece. Cement adhesive, it actually has pretty good working time. That is, I've got about 15 minutes, so I can work comfortably to finish this section, and the adhesive won't even start to dry. Now we create a slight texture on the surface. That's so the material will bond better with the base itself. All right, let's add a bit of texture here too. Just a little bit. Well, something like that roughly. Okay, good. Let me show you now, I think, how the pieces will look. So I have geometric shapes. Let me put a sketch here so you can see. Triangles. I'll take a piece and break it into smaller bits. Just place and break. So since I don't have strict geometry here, I'm not going to stick to it rigidly. There. There. Like this here. Just a little bit. Something like that roughly. With these kinds of triangles, I'll be laying them out. Actually, I have this glass cutter here, the one I mentioned at the very beginning, and it really helps for making nice even triangles, so you get perfectly even triangles. In general, the glass cutter helps us to make a clean, straight cut line. See? And then you can, when you apply pressure, actually snap it, and you get, look, such a clean cut. Now you can, for example, break it in half again, like this, and you get a triangle like this. Or you can break it in half again. Really handy. Really useful tool. By the way, for ceramic, I think it would work beautifully too. See how it comes out? I also think that we could, in principle, swap this piece for that one, and we could put this one somewhere else instead. For instance, somewhere right here. For example, somewhere over here. There. Actually, the Byzantine technique, it doesn't have any strict rules for how to do it. See? That is, usually shapes like these, geometric forms, that create a certain specific shape, like a triangle. That triangle should have even edges. As you can see, these curved lines here. Let me add some. There, that's a triangle. That's a curved line. So the grout line should be straight, but everything that happens inside is fairly chaotic. That is, there's no particular structure. The point of making that straight grout line is to separate one area from another. Plus, this technique is quite painterly. And for architectural structures like this, works really well for all kinds of functional applications, functional pieces and so on. Why? Why the tabletop? Because, well, because it's going to look really lively on it. I want to emphasize this material. As you can see, I'm using both the front and the back side of the tile to give the materials a certain liveliness. Okay, so now let's take a dark piece over here. There we go. So let's place it here now, on top of this. So what else can we add here? For example, for instance, a piece like this. Let's try this one. I think I'll cut this one too. And I have some triangles somewhere. I completely forgot about them. So, shall we keep applying the glue? As you can see, I assembled both fragments very quickly. Well, essentially, if you were to use similar techniques, for example, with ceramics, you could make the pattern a bit more complex. What we have here is more of a demonstration sketch version, and I can show you how to decorate an interior piece. Let me apply a bit more glue. Again, I'm saying that if you use silicone-based adhesive, like I am, for example, and you have a simple sketch like this, then you can apply around 10 centimeters of glue comfortably, because you have 15 minutes to arrange all the modules however you want. If you use, for example, construction adhesive, then you need to apply it right away, directly onto the module. But in that case, on the other hand, it dries quickly and in just 5 minutes your work is ready. A sketch project is a bit more complex. You'll need to wait for it to dry, and then we'll additionally go over the surface with you using cement grout. By the way, I wanted to point out one thing to you, as you can see on this sketch, and actually in the Gaudi technique, wide grout lines are very characteristic. That is, they should be at least 5 millimeters, because when you apply the grout over this surface with this trowel, for example, if you use light-colored grout, like on this sketch here, on this sketch, you see all your grout lines will separate the modules really well, and that will be such a distinctive highlight of this work and really of the technique itself. So I've applied a bit here. Let's add a couple more blue modules. Then we'll start adding some darker pieces. I think we can still add a couple more. As you can see, I've already cut some here. These even triangles turn out nicely thanks to the glass cutter and the hardy that I told you about. So the hardy, here's the glass cutter, and you take and cut triangles. It's really convenient. It's really handy. Okay, let's try one like this. Make a longer one now. Yes. There we go. So let's try now. Well, I mean, I think actually we could put a different color here. Like this one, for example. What do you think? Let's try placing it. If we don't like it, we can remove it later. Because we don't have that much blue tile in stock, but we're still trying to create something interesting. Anyway, okay, this triangle shifted a bit. I'm trying to make sure, you see, that the triangle has these side lines stay straight. I'm trying to keep that in mind. Okay, let's take this one. Let's take this one. Let's take this one. So I've run out of blue, but here's more blue. Let's place it somehow. Let's stay aligned again. Let's try to keep this line. We'll cover it with another module. We'll place this one here. Perfect. So now about these little holes as it happens. You see, here somewhere on the sketch, there are small ones, kind of like this, like this. There. So now about these little holes as it happens, here somewhere on the sketch, there are these small areas, little pieces, fragments that complement this large module. Right now I'm actually going to place them here. I think we can put these right here. To do that, I take some pieces and break them into these little squares and start placing these squares right here. See, as you can see, they create a certain kind of pattern. These pieces right here are really convenient. Actually, for any material, if you're working with tiles, assembling something from glass mosaic, the ones used for countertops and for backsplashes. This one is also sold at Mercani. Really handy stuff. These pieces for this tile work. You can use them. There, we've added some. Let's add a bright color. Here somewhere. I want something vibrant. I have this piece here. It's really beautiful. I'm definitely going to use it now. Look how transparent it is. See the way light works. It's going to look absolutely stunning. Now let's chip it, just a little bit. There, just a bit. Okay, we've chipped it. Just a little chip. A tiny bit. There, let's place it. And it's on this dark blue background. I'll leave these gaps for now. I'll think about it later, whether to fill them or not. Okay, let's place something right here now. I'm thinking maybe we could put something dark here. Using this same technique, you can assemble absolutely any kind of piece that you have, or rather that you want create. It could be a floral theme, a plant theme, and so on. It's all very simple once you understand the technique of the assembly process itself. Then you won't have problems with it later on. Okay, let's probably add something else here. Maybe a color like this, probably. I want something bright to go here. Maybe we could place this one. But this will probably be higher up, lower down. No, let's not do that. Let's add this one instead, like this. This will work nicely here. I need a more striped piece here. So I take this tile, add some glass, and cut it like this into a few pieces. That's how I cut it.
Вот так вот на несколько частей.
I cut another one too. There, that's pretty close.
Вот так вот разрезаем.
Well, all right.
Еще тоже разрезаем.
You know what? Here's what
Вот,
we'll
и
do.
практически
There.
попало. Ну, давайте мы, наверное, знаете, как с вами сделаем? Так,
We could chip it here.
тут можно будет...
Perfect.
попробовать.
There.
Так, отлично.
I think I'm going to put all this away now, mix some more cement,
Я думаю, что я сейчас вот это все уберу.
and probably fill in the whole triangle, the entire triangle.
И заполню, наверное, весь треугольник.
So in that way, I'll be able to understand what other modules I want to add here, because right now I'm a little bit confused. And don't forget to leave the seams. Okay, let's go. Let's stir the glue some more. I've got about 100 cups and there's a little bit left, so I'll pull it out now.
У нас тут стаканчики немножко осталось, сейчас я его вытащу.
There we go. A little bit over here.
Так,
I'll add some here,
добавлю.
and I'll add some more here. And I'll add some more here too.
И еще добавлю сюда.
Okay. Just reminding you about the ratio, 1 to 3. If you're going to use this glue that I'm using, first you pour in the liquid. A little bit here. It splashed a tiny bit. There we go.
Так,
Good.
клей.
All right. So, friends, right now, I want to apply glue all the way to the corner and start filling in this whole entire form completely. Here I have ceramic
Так,
tile,
друзья, я
and porcelain
сейчас
tile has appeared on the broken
point
piece.
Хочу
I
нанести
broke it a
клей
bit off
до
camera.
угла и начать заполнять вот
I
эту
want
всю
to add a
форму
little of it
целиком.
here.
Вот
That's
у меня
perfect.
тут
I don't
керамическая
know
плитка
how
и
it's going to
керамогранит
look,
появился
but I'm
наколком.
curious to
Обратите
see.
внимание, я
I
немножко
don't
за
know
кадром его
how it will turn
поколола.
out, but I want to try it anyway. I'm going to add it here. I want to add it right here.
Как раз
Just to
показать
show you
вам
an example
пример
of how
того,
it's
как
going
он
to
будет
coordinate with the
сочетаться
Smalti.
со
And
Smalti,
really,
и просто как
what
из
any
него
kind of
будет
surface
выглядеть
will look
какая-либо
like from it.
поверхность. Поэтому я
So I'm
сейчас
going to
нанесу
apply
клей,
glue right now across
прямо
the different
сразу на
surfaces
поверхность,
that are going to
которой
work.
буду работать.
I'm
Стараюсь
trying not to
наносить его,
make
видите,
it,
таким
see, thick
достаточно
enough
толстым
so that the
слоем,
tiles
чтобы
stick
модуль
well.
приклеивался.
And plus the mesh acts as an extra
Вот, ну и плюс сетка у нас дополнительным таким
adhesive bonding layer for us.
цепляющим слоем является.
Here's the mounting mesh
Вот
that
это
we attach
монтаж,
together.
который мы с вами прикрепили. Так.
There's a little bit left, so we'll pull that out too now.
Тоже вытащим
Just a bit.
немного.
All right,
Так,
good.
Хорошо.
I'll show you how to break up the
Я
tile
вам покажу,
just a
как
little
еще
bit
колоть
later.
плитку чуть-чуть попозже.
A ceramic tile. Well, like we already talked about,
Ну,
you
как мы
can
с вами уже
use
говорили, что,
pliers
в принципе,
because
можно
they
и
work on
кусачками,
it.
потому что они справляются.
That works especially well if you're about
Хорошо,
a
особенно
centimetre
если она
thick.
до
This
сантиметра
tile,
толщина, эта плитка.
if it's porcelain tile,
Если
like
это
what I have,
керамогранит, например,
well then
как
of
у меня,
course it's
то
much
там,
more
конечно,
complex.
немного
So then you can
посложнее. То
use
есть там
a
уже
glass
нужно
cutter and a
будет
hardy,
стеклорез
but
и
the principle
харди.
is the same
Но
as what we just
принцип
looked
такой же,
at
как
with the
вот мы сейчас с
Smalti,
вами с
how
Smalti
to break
смотрели,
it.
как
So first
колоть.
you score it
То есть
with the
сначала
glass cutter,
стеклорезом
then you
прорезаете,
tap it
потом
against the hardy,
об
and you
харди
get that
бьете,
kind
и
of
у вас
break.
получается такой скол.
Okay, look. Right now, this is the moment with it. I want to set the corner right away. Because we have a sharp angle here, it wasn't as important there. But here we need everything to be straight. So I take this piece of tile here. As you can see, this is right at the edge of the tile. Basically, it's broken. I take it like this. I place it right on the edge, so our edges are level. There, carefully. And now we've set the corner. Let's try now to add something else. For instance, I have another piece here. We need some kind of even piece, so that you and I can keep moving forward. Okay. Let's probably... I'm going to place this one here. Just like this. Again, along the edge, I'm setting it. So here we already need to have an even piece. Well, more precisely, an even corner. So we have some kind of principle following, as I said, the grout lines. Keeping this straight line here so that the grout joint looks nice later. And now we're going to place some kind of tile module. Okay. Okay. I need to apply a lot more adhesive because I didn't apply quite enough adhesive here. I need to add a bit more. Okay, and let's add a bit more adhesive here too. All right, let's try this. Since my tiles are like this, and I've already started with dark, I think we can create a color gradient. And it will look really beautiful. In other words, even a brand new color gradient. I actually have dark blue right here. So now I'm going to transition to this one, and then I'll move to this one, and then this one. And it's going to look really nice. Okay, so let me show you how I'm going to cut the tiles now. Well, with ceramic, we've already seen together. Let's look at porcelain tile. For example, I'm taking a piece here. Let me take one like this. A piece of porcelain tile. Porcelain tile is quite dense, so it's hard to break. But if you have a wet saw and, say, a glass cutter, you'll be able to manage with this. Here, you score it and break it. There's also another convenient tool, like a hammer. This hammer, by the way, is designed for breaking ceramic and stone. It has a special carbide. Tip, carbide is a very hard metal, so it allows you to break even very, very dense textures, including natural stone, natural marble, and with porcelain tile. It works pretty well too. See, it broke it into 3 pieces. All these 3 bits here, I'll place somewhere later. It's no problem that they're uneven. Well, I'll figure out somewhere to put them later. Okay, so let me probably break this one with the hammer too, yes, to start creating the gradient. Let me break this one as well. With ceramic, it's easier, because it's not as dense as porcelain tile, so breaking it is much simpler. You can use nippers, a glass cutter, or a wet saw. There, porcelain is denser, so you need to apply more force, but in principle it still works out quite easily. All right, let me place a piece right here, just to see the gradient. I think it works, Okay, let me find another matching piece now. Actually, there's another color too. I think we could place it somewhere, or maybe put it here, and then we'd immediately establish the corner. Let's put it right here. There, and now we'll start placing ceramic tiles. All right, I think we can actually set another corner here. Okay, let's set the corner right here. All right. I'll mark the edge right away. So here we can already go with a lighter shade. Look, maybe now there's something in this tile. For example, a color like this. We could add this here too. Let's add it. And we need some kind of triangle here. All right, let's see what we have. Actually, with the tiles, I have whole tiles. You probably have leftover tiles, so you won't even need to break them as much. All right, let's probably place it here somewhere. There, I think it goes here. Although maybe we need more here. All right. This fits nicely here. We just need to bite off a little piece. I'll mark it with nippers now. Continues action.
Карандашиком сейчас начерчу себе.
Yep, perfect.
Отлично.
I'll try to bite a piece
Попробую
off.
откусить.
Let's try this spot
точку
here. Need to be careful about it.
Аккуратно нужно.
A little chunk
Молотком
broke off.
откусилось.
You can actually do it in
Кусочками, на самом
pieces.
деле.
Need to work on the shape a bit more. The form.
Форму.
All
Так,
right,
давайте
let's
теперь
try placing
попробуем
it now.
поставить.
Yeah, that's
Как-то
roughly how
так
it looks.
примерно
The cement that
получается. Цемент,
spills
который
over
у
the
нас выходит
edges.
за
I
края,
clean it right
я
away,
убираю сразу,
so it doesn't
чтобы
dry.
он не подсох, и
And I
потом
won't
его
have to
не
chip it
пришлось
off later.
отковыривать.
There we go, something like that.
Как-то так.
We're pretty much done
Примерно
here.
здесь доделали. Так,
Okay, so...
давайте.
All right, let's think about this side now.
Так, давайте теперь с этой стороны подумаем.
So,
Так,
let's place it like this.
давайте вот так
And we can put
поставим.
another one here.
А сюда
Maybe something blue.
какой-нибудь еще синий.
Like this one, for example.
Например, вот такой.
There. Let's set it properly.
Ну, давайте поставим его
A
прямо
whole piece,
целый
really.
кусок.
We won't
Даже
even
не будем
trim
его
it.
подкалывать.
See,
Вот,
I've
как
got this
видите, у меня
triangle
такой
shape
треугольник
forming here.
сформировался. Вот
I
здесь
think I'll
немножко я,
nudge
наверное,
these
все-таки
just a tiny bit.
чуть-чуть,
slightly,
чтобы у
so
нас
we
вот
get
линия треугольника
That
у нас
triangle
соблюдена
line
была.
just right.
Ну и в
Well,
целом, в
overall, you
общем,
know, something like
как-то
that.
так.
As you can
Как
see,
видите,
the
форма
shape
уже
is taking
задалась.
form.
Теперь нам
Now
нужно
we need
сделать
to do the
растяжку.
grout. Be
Осторожно,
careful with the
кстати,
cement, by the way. It's best to wipe it off right
желательно лучше
away.
сразу его вытирать.
And it's better
И
to work
работать
in an
лучше в
apron
фартуке и
and
застелить
cover your
рабочую
work surface,
поверхность
definitely,
обязательно, потому
because it
что
gets messy.
он пачкается. Ну, в
Well,
принципе,
like
как
any
любой клей.
adhesive, really.
Цементный,
Cement
либо
adhesive,
цементный,
it'll be
там,
cement. There's
монтажный
also
клей
mounting
и какие-то
adhesive
другие.
and some other types.
Так,
All
давайте
right, let's
сейчас
think
мы
about what we're doing
подумаем,
here.
как нам
How
здесь
should we do
сделать.
this spot?
Я думаю, что
I
здесь
think we
на
could
самом деле
actually
можно где-то
add another tile. Somewhere.
добавить
In
еще вот
here.
такую плитку.
As for the
И по поводу
cutters,
кусачек
it's a bit tricky.
трудновато. Скажу я вам,
I'd say
колоть
breaking it with a
прям
hammer is
очень
better,
легко.
really. You can chip it with a
Молотком
hammer.
можно поколоть. Так.
Little piece by little piece. Oh, that worked out great.
Получилось отлично.
So I want to
Хочу
put
вот
something
сюда
blue in
какой-нибудь
here. A
поставить
nice piece.
красивый кусочек.
Let's try it.
Давайте попробуем.
Like that.
Так вот.
And let's try putting
Давайте
something
теперь
in this
попробуем
spot.
что-нибудь поставить сюда.
As you see, I'm
Как
trying
видите,
to
я
mix
стараюсь
up
большие такие куски
these larger
перемешивать
pieces with
с
smaller
более
ones.
маленькими кусками.
And
И
that's
тогда
how you get
получается
exactly
именно
what
то,
we're going
чего мы
for.
добивались. То есть
It's
такая
kind of like a
некое
mosaic
подобие
technique,
техники
if you
вилки.
will. All right, let me adjust
Так,
myself a
немножко
bit.
увеличу себе.
I'll add a bit more.
Немножко добавим.
Something
Ну,
like
как-то
that.
так.
Let's
Давайте
gradually
здесь постепенно
transition to that
переходить в вот
lighter
этот
shade
светлый
here.
оттенок.
I'm going to spread it
Сейчас
out
я
a
вам
bit
еще
more now.
рассмотрю.
Perfect.
Так.
Upbeat music. 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 So, friends, the countertop is done, and I've applied the grout to it. It's settled just a bit. I think later, once it hardens on the lower layer, we could apply more. It's not necessary, though. I'll probably remove it later when the grout is completely dry. And when you're cleaning it, keep that in mind too. So here we have the countertop we've created, and you can use this technique on any functional surface. It could be a countertop, it could be a floor at your Dasha, or maybe a garden path, but we've talked about that before. I really hope you enjoyed this quick masterclass. If you did, give us a like. We've also decided to give away this countertop. So look, it'll be roughly this tall, and then we'll screw on the legs and be able to see it on the legs, most likely anyway. Here's with the legs on the thumbnail. You'll need to write in the comments some idea about how you'd want to use this technique. Where would you apply it? And the more original your idea, the better your chances of winning this countertop. You can put it anywhere, it's pretty sturdy. So we're waiting to hear from you in the comments. I think we'll take 2 weeks for the comments, so check back in 2 weeks for the results. The winner announcement will probably be on our Instagram, and there'll be a link on our website in the description. So I hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next videos. Everyone, bye! Continued from Mate 27. Continued from Mate 27.
Так что давайте ждем от вас
Continued from
комментарии, и,
8:27.
собственно, потом мы решим, кому эта столешница попадет. Я думаю,
Continued from 8:27.
Так что через 2 недели ждите итоги розыгрыша.
Continued from
Скорее всего, он будет в
8:27.
Инстаграме, у нас на сайте ссылка будет в описании.
Continued from
Так что
8:27.
все. Надеюсь, вам понравилось, и до встречи в следующих видео.
Continued
Всем
from
пока.
8:27.